Jermaine. Welcome back to Southside Community Services. My name's Amanda and I'm one of the youth workers here. Just before we begin, I just have to touch base on a few WHS policies and procedures. So in the case of an emergency, such as a fire evacuation, I'll just have to get you to exit out the main doors that you came in through, walk up the main street, and we have the park at the top. That's our meeting point, just to ensure that everyone is okay and safe.
Yeah.
Here at Southside, we provide a duty of care to our clients, which means that if I believe you're at risk of hurting yourself or other people, then I will have to let my supervisor know, just to ensure not only your safety, but the workers and also the other clients who utilise this service. We are a confidential service, which means that anything that we discuss will stay between you and I. As you can see, I do have some documentation I will have to fill out today. Any documentation that I fill out will be secured in a locked database, either on a computer or in a cabinet, and will not be able to be seen by anyone else unless it's relevant, such as my supervisor, or if the files need to be subpoenaed in court, then it's my legal obligation to hand those over. And with your consent as well, I can disclose information. Also, we are mandatory reporters here, which means that if there is someone 16 years or below who is at risk or we suspect is at risk of being harmed, then I will have to let my supervisor know, just to ensure their safety, yet again through duty of care, and also make a mandatory report to ensure their safety.
Yeah.
Do you understand all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so how can I help you today, Joanne?
So basically, I've had a little problem going on since school.
Yeah.
So I noticed halfway through year 12 that I was hearing voices.
Okay.
I thought it was normal that everyone else could hear them, but then I started to realise that I was the only one that could hear them.
Yeah.
The voices were getting really bad in class, and it was stopping me from focusing. My grades were slipping. I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
I started to think that not going to school was the best option. But my friend encouraged me to go to a doctor.
Okay.
So
Well, that was
did.
good of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And my doctor referred me to a psychiatrist, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that would have been only last year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else has been happening for you in that time?
Well, I'm really struggling with it because I did have a part-time job at Coles.
Okay.
I was going really good with it, supporting my family with the money I was earning, and then my boss told me with everything that's happening that I could no longer work there, even though I hadn't done anything wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, my mental illness had caused me to lose my job,
Yeah.
and I'm now struggling with no money, no nothing. I don't really want to go back to school because I fear of being judged by everyone because I can hear the voices.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been looking into maybe doing a course or something to finish year 12.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I am interested in finishing school and getting a career.
Yeah. That's good that you still have that
Yeah.
ambition.
It's just kind of the job kind of side of things, where I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to get a job because of my mental illness and me hearing the voices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really unfortunate to obviously hear about what's happened with work. Are you seeing a GP? Like you said, you're seeing the GP.
Yeah.
Were you seeing the GP for did they prescribe you with medication?
They did.
Yeah. How's the medication going?
The medication's gone pretty good. It's controlled the voices in my head. But since my diagnosis, I've become quite depressed.
Have you been withdrawn, like not being as connected or involved in the things that you used to be involved in?
I feel as if that is the case because I'm just scared to go to school because I'm scared I'm going to get judged for hearing voices. I come home and I get judged because I'm hearing voices. Like it's out of control. I feel as though I can't even join a football team without getting judged because I can hear the voices. I try and go to my mum, but my mum believes that I'm possessed and I've got a demon in me because I'm hearing these voices.
How does that make you feel knowing that like your own mother's saying that?
Kind of hurts and makes me a bit upset, but I try as hard as I can to try and get it out of me and try and act normal, but it's making me feel heaps bad because she's scared of me. She's scared to be around me whenever I'm home.
Does she understand much about mental illness? You mentioned you're diagnosed with schizophrenia. Does she understand what schizophrenia is and how that can affect someone?
I don't think she has a very bright idea on what mental illness was because we were all brought up in Uganda and mental illness was really common over there.
Okay, yeah.
We've come over here recently with my siblings and my mum, and ever since we've come here and I've been diagnosed with it, my mum just doesn't really have a great understanding of it.
Okay.
I've tried to sit down and talk to her about it, but she just doesn't understand. She just keeps thinking I'm possessed or I've got a demon.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm hearing a lot of things from you. So you spoke about you're in year 12 and you left because you could hear voices.
Yeah.
You've spoken about being at the GP, they put you on medication, and how you obviously don't really have much support at home because your mum doesn't really understand.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before that you also become unemployed.
Yeah.
So you were working part-time at Coles. What were you doing at Coles? Like, what was your job description?
I was in customer service.
Customer service, and how did you find that?
It was really good. I loved it. Just the feeling of getting in there, doing my job and actually knowing what I'm doing was actually great.
So did you, obviously you found that you weren't really going so well with school. No. With work and also living with schizophrenia, how did you go with that? Like, did you find you preferred to work?
I preferred to work just because of the environment. Being around people and knowing that I'm in there to get the job done and help out people as much as I could. I loved that.
So did you find that you were able to work better practically than theoretically, like through paperwork and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're more of a hands-on person.
I feel as though the reason why the voices were getting so bad in my head at school was because I was always sitting there doing my work, thinking, leaving my mind open.
Gave you that opportunity to just sit there and
whereas at work I'm hands-on, I've got things to do and I was going.
Did you speak to your manager at Coles about how your schizophrenia affected you at school in comparison to work? Like, do they know what you've just told me?
I never really told them, but I did let them know about the illness because I thought that would be my right to do because it would affect me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But in saying that, I never really told them about what happened at school compared to workplace because I didn't really think it mattered.
Yeah.
But now looking at it, I do regret not telling him because it was a job that I love to do and I would love to get back in the workplace and earn some money. Yeah. Because I'm afraid that if I don't go and earn some money, I won't be able to afford my medication in the future.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And medication in some circumstances might not be covered by government, so it will cost, it's a bit costly, especially if, you take a box from within a month, that does become very costly. So, alright, so we'll go through one thing at a time. So you have obviously the goals of you want to finish year 12, which I think is highly incredible of you to, to know that that's what you want to do. Yeah. School's not for everyone, obviously, but if you get year 12 under your sleeve, that can lead you into university in the future. It really looks good on your resume, pretty much. But if not, there are other options on ways to get your year 12. You can do your year 12 equivalent through TAFE. Yeah. It's a really different learning environment in comparison to school. A lot of people define it as being a more adult kind of learning environment. You kind of treat it like an adult rather than a kid, pretty much. Yeah. So that could be an option if you want to finish year 12. We could look into some potential courses in that kind of area. or there's other courses that you can do.
Yeah. That actually sounds really good.
Yeah, do you like the sound of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously a big thing, like 18, you know, do you drive or anything like that?
No, I don't have my license.
Yeah, but you do provide a lot of financial towards your family. Yeah. So that obviously losing your job, that wouldn't have helped either.
No.
So that, you know, have you been a bit stressed because of that?
Very stressed, yeah.
Very stressed.
It's getting to me because I'm over here to help support my family, and now that I've lost my job, I don't really have much money to live off.
Yeah.
In order to get the stuff that we do need every week.
Do you know about Centrelink?
No.
Have you ever heard of Centrelink before?
I've heard about it, but
yeah. So Centrelink actually provide people with payments. So if you're like an Australian citizen or whatever, there are certain criteria that you do need to meet. But if you're an Australian citizen, yeah.
Oh no.
No? Okay. Well, you'll have to look at the documentation to see the criteria, and just see, you know, if you fit what the criteria meets. And what you do is you just go on and you speak to them about what payment options you have. In regards to which payment you can go on. So in some circumstances, I mean, you're 18, so you could be eligible for youth allowance, job seeker. So what that means is, to say you're studying, you receive a payment for completing X amount of hours of study per week, face to face. So if you do go to TAFE, you can get on a Centrelink payment that can help you financially. There's also job seeker, which is where you have to job seek and apply for jobs. I'm not sure exactly the amount of jobs you have to apply for, but it's a certain amount of jobs within a month. You go to face-to-face meetings. So that's another thing. There's also a place called Transition to Work, which I'll tell you a bit more about. But there are a couple of options. But the thing is, with Centrelink, in some circumstances, people who have a mental illness, whether it be depression, anxiety, you know, schizophrenia, bipolar, they can actually go to Centrelink and speak to them, and if you do job seeker, for example, they can actually refer you to a job seeking place where you attend meetings and stuff. In some cases, they might get you through to a mainstream one, which means you'll be applying for X amount of jobs per month. But in some cases, you know, people with mental illnesses might actually be referred to a disability employment agency, and what that means is that you might just have the exemption of job seeking in some cases. So if you're unwell to work or study, they'll put the job seek exemption in place, which means that you'll still receive your payments even though you have the exemption of job seeking, and then once you get a medical clearance, then you can begin to job seek. But the difference is, with the disability support service, they provide you with a lot more support in order to, you know, to get you back into the workforce. They're all about making sure that whether it be you have a disability or a mental illness that affects your capability of working, they ensure that they're providing you with as much support as they can to make sure that you're getting out there in the community and engaging. So that might even be an option. I can either refer you to speak to one of the social workers there to see what options you have, or you can just walk in yourself.
I would love a referral.
So we'll refer you to Centrelink. I mean, obviously you will know within yourself if that's something you want to do. If you feel like at the moment you are capable or not capable of doing it, you will know. So it's really whatever suits you. Like, I don't want to get there and be like, oh no, we'll get you to job search or we'll get you into working if you're not ready. You know, we want to make sure that you're okay. It's not putting too much stress on you, and you'll still be able to, you know, have the finances come in too. The medication you said you're really happy with. Are you seeing a psychiatrist by any chance?
I think I am seeing one very shortly. I've been referred.
Yep. So when was your last appointment?
About 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. And how are you finding those?
They're actually pretty good. Like, they're helping me through everything, and then, like, being there kind of makes me feel as if I'm not abnormal. I'm actually a normal kid. Because, like, finding out I did have schizophrenia made me feel as if I wasn't normal and I wasn't an actual kid. Like,
Okay.
but being there, they've proved to me that there are people out there just like me, and it's not an abnormal thing. It's a normal thing that people go through.
You would be surprised on the amount of the statistics of young people who are affected by mental illness.
Yeah.
Even when I did some research myself, it was insane to think of the number. Like, as mentioned before, you know, a lot of the time mental illness was very uncommon back in the day, whereas now it is very common within young people.
Yeah.
And adults as well. So the statistics are pretty high, but yes, you are not alone.
Yeah.
And we are here to support you as much as we can, just like your psychiatrist and your GP and your friends and family too. So everywhere I'll be referring you to or linking you in with will be there to support you.
Yeah.
If Year 12 is something you want to do, we can look into a potential TAFE course.
Yeah.
I can find out when the next kind of open day is for you to kind of go in and find out
that'd
about.
be great.
Have a bit of a tour. So we'll find out about that, and I'll provide you with the information. But as I said, if that's something that you aren't ready to do, then you know, like, you don't have to attend. It'd be cool to go in and just find out if you're up for it. But as I said, if you're not ready, you know, this is all within you, within your time. But definitely get on Centrelink with the payments, because you'll also be provided with a healthcare card, which means that when you go to get your medication, you just hand over your healthcare card, and you actually don't have to pay. Say your medication's $20, you won't have to pay $20. You'll have to pay $6.30. So it really financially helps you as well. And that way you can still get your medication too. With your job, you mentioned that, you know, you felt like you became unemployed because of your mental illness. Would you maybe look into going back and speaking to the manager and seeing what happens?
I honestly would love to.
Why?
Because I did love that job.
It was a bit sudden, wasn't it? Do you feel like it was because of your schizophrenia, or like you found out about that, or do you think it was because of potentially your work performance or something affecting it?
Well, like my boss said, it definitely was my mental illness. It was all new to him and he didn't know how to take it. Basically thought that because I had a mental illness, it would kind of not so much take away my job skills, but decrease me a bit more than all the other workers.
Do you think maybe it's very stigmatized mental illness that, example, depression, you know, if a person's depressed, they're spending most of their time in their room, you know, withdrawn. Do you think it was kind of like that image, like that stigmatized view on mental illness? Okay, because in my eyes, in some cases, yes, people do let people go because of mental illness, but I think it's pretty unfair. It's kind of like basically saying you're not capable of doing the job, which you very much are, and you know that within yourself. I just think it's getting him to understand that too. So what we can do in that aspect, there's a couple of options. So you can go to Fair Work Trading about this, because you know you shouldn't be let go just because of mental illness. Yes, you might require a bit more support in the sense of, you know, you might have days off, or you might need a bit more supervision or support within your job capabilities. But at the end of the day, your workplace should be supporting you no matter what. They shouldn't let you go just because of the fact you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. You're doing everything that you can, such as the medication, you know, going to see a psychiatrist, and also coming in here today. You know, you're seeking support. So what we can do is, you can either go to Fair Trading and have a chat about that and see what they say, and go above Coles, or we could potentially arrange a meeting with your manager, and I'll come in with you, and I'll speak on a professional kind of level as your youth worker, and explain, you know, about the things that you're doing with your consent. Obviously, explain the things that you're doing, as well as have a bit of a chat around what your goals are. So obviously you still want to be in customer service, how it helps you, because you're not doing the same thing every day. But it's also because of the fact that you find that you work better practically. You know, you're so busy that you don't have time to think. that could actually possibly help you.
Yeah.
You know, so we can go arrange a meeting with your manager.
That would be amazing.
I can speak on your behalf in the sense of what services you're utilising, how we together can help support you in that aspect. Speak to your GP too about a medical certificate, because if you do have a day off, it would be good to have that medical certificate to show you that, you know, if you're not actually sick and you just say you're sick because you're having a day that you just need to yourself, it can be there to back you up kind of thing, and, you know, save your job as well. The only other real thing I really want to talk to you about is, you mentioned your mum and how she thinks you're possessed and a demon, I believe I heard you say.
I would love it if we could maybe book an appointment where I bring her in here. They get an interpreter?
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
And maybe just sit her down and just explain to her from a professional side of view that I'm not possessed, I'm not a demon,
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's wonderful that you've come up with that idea. Wow. If that's something that you want to do, then I mean, I'm sure we can arrange it. If you can just arrange it with your mum, or even I could possibly.
Is there any way we can make it like a home visit or anything like that?
If that's something that you interest, absolutely. You know,
great.
because you know, if she doesn't really understand mental health and how that can affect someone, I don't want to kind of be like, though, like a mental health worker coming in or something, like, you know, like it would seem a bit daunting. So no, absolutely, if that's something that suits you, then I can absolutely do that. Just obviously make it a time that's okay for you, because I need you to be there as well as your mum, and I can provide an interpreter service as well, and we can meet up and have a bit of a chat to save you obviously interpreting as well.
I feel like that would be the first
might
step.
cause a bit of conflict, so
I feel like that would be the first step towards maybe helping this all out a bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's an amazing idea. Congratulations on
giving
coming
her
up with
some
that.
understanding of mental health.
And you'll probably find as well that having it come from a professional point of view might help as well to actually get her to understand a bit better, and we can also provide her with tips on how to support you better too. So so that would be really good as well. One last question: have you been turning to alcohol or any illegal illicit drugs?
I don't drink or.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I just know that in some cases, some people do end up turning to illicit drugs and alcohol to help. But if it's just your prescribed medication, that's good. So what I will do, I will get in touch with the interpreter service about what meeting times they have. I'll then get in contact with you and see what time suits you.
Sounds good.
Have a think about what you want to do in the sense of employment. If you would like me to come in with you to Coles and have a chat with your manager, we can organise that, and then if that doesn't work out, then maybe go to fair trading. But just keep up with your psychiatry appointments. I think that might do you a bit of good. So I will refer you to Centrelink to speak to a social worker about payments. I'll research the TAFE open days and provide that next time I see you. Just continue with the GP psychiatry, and I will make sure I get in contact about the interpreter service for your mum for our meeting. Would you like me to be in contact with your manager at Coles?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. Do you just mind telling me which Coles you worked at and his name?
It's Coles Tukley.
Yeah.
And his name is Jake.
Jake. Okay. And is he like the store manager?
He's the store manager.
Okay. No worries at all. Okay, well I'll get all those organised. Is there anything else that I can help you with today?
Not really. I think we've covered it all.
No worries at all. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I will be in contact within the next couple of days. And we'll get everything sorted for you.
Alright, thank you.
That's alright. Have a good day, Jermaine. See you later.
You too.